I opened my wife Amanda's phone and saw the message clear as day. My hands trembled as I read the words from her coworker. "Miss you so much. Last night was amazing." In that moment, my entire world collapsed. 3 years of marriage, 5 years together, all built on what now felt like quicksand. The betrayal cut deep like a knife twisting in my chest. I made my decision right then. No confrontation, no messy arguments. I would simply disappear from her life completely. Little did I know my ghosting would create such chaos. Before I tell you how I vanished from my cheating wife's life and the surprising aftermath that followed, drop a comment letting me know where you are watching from, and hit that subscribe button so you do not miss more shocking, real life stories like this one. I was 32 when I met Amanda at a tech conference in Seattle. I had just finished presenting a new software solution my team had developed, and she approached me afterward with thoughtful questions about application integration. Amanda worked in marketing for a competing firm, but that professional rivalry only added to our chemistry. Her intelligence matched her beauty: shoulder-length auburn hair, bright green eyes that crinkled when she laughed, and a confidence that drew everyone in a room toward her. Our first date lasted 6 hours. Dinner extended to drinks, then a walk along the waterfront until sunrise. Amanda was vibrant and full of stories. She had traveled extensively through South America after college, could speak fluent Spanish, and had this infectious enthusiasm for experiencing everything life offered. I was immediately captivated. I had always been the reliable one in my friend group. My engineering mindset made me methodical, sometimes too cautious, according to my friends. But with Amanda, I felt adventurous. During our 2-year courtship, we went skydiving, took impromptu road trips, and once even flew to New Orleans, just because she had a craving for authentic gumbo. When I proposed at the summit of Mount Rainier after a grueling hike, Amanda cried and said I had given her the perfect story to tell our grandchildren someday. The wedding was intimate but beautiful, with just 80 guests at a rustic vineyard. Her vows included a promise to always keep our lives interesting, a promise that would take on ironic meaning later. The first 3 years of marriage unfolded like a dream. We purchased a charming craftsman-style home in the suburbs, complete with a wraparound porch and enough bedrooms for the 2 children we planned to have. Weekends were spent renovating. Amanda had an eye for design, turning our house into something worthy of a magazine spread. We hosted dinner parties, joined a neighborhood book club, and took a memorable anniversary trip to the Amalfi Coast. Life was good. The changes began so subtly I almost missed them. Around our 3rd anniversary, Amanda started working later, explaining her marketing team had taken on several major accounts. Instead of arriving home by 6, she would stroll in at 8 or 9, sometimes smelling faintly of wine. Her phone, once casually left on countertops or beside the bed, became permanently attached to her hand. The password, which I had always known, was changed. Just being security conscious, she explained with a light laugh when I mentioned it. Someone at work had their identity stolen. I believed her because I wanted to. When suspicion crept in, I would push it away, reminding myself how lucky I was to have such a brilliant, beautiful wife. If she was distant sometimes, it was just work stress. If she seemed distracted during our conversations, she was probably mentally reviewing campaign metrics. For our anniversary, I planned a special evening. Reservations at Canlis, the restaurant where we had celebrated our engagement. That morning, Amanda kissed me quickly and said she would meet me there directly from work. At 2 in the afternoon, she texted that an emergency client meeting had come up and she needed to reschedule. I went home alone, carrying the bouquet of lilies I had purchased, her favorite flowers. I ordered takeout from our favorite Thai place and waited, thinking she might still make it home to salvage some of our special day. At midnight, I wrapped the uneaten food and went to bed. She slipped in at 2 a.m., careful not to wake me. I pretended to sleep as she showered before coming to bed, something she never used to do at night. Our physical relationship changed too. Amanda always had a reason: headaches, fatigue, early meetings. When we did connect, it felt mechanical, as if she was checking a box on a to-do list. The passionate woman I married seemed to have vanished, replaced by someone going through the motions. The mysterious phone calls became more frequent. Her phone would ring, and she would glance at it with an expression I could not quite read before stepping onto our back porch to talk in private. When I asked who called so often, she would wave dismissively and say, "Just work stuff. Boring marketing details you would hate." I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. But the knot in my stomach grew tighter with each late night, each canceled plan, each private conversation. Something had changed, but I was not ready to face what it might be. Our friends noticed too. Marcus, my best friend since college, pulled me aside at a barbecue and asked if everything was okay. "Amanda seems different lately," he observed carefully. I defended her, explained about her work pressure, but even as the words left my mouth, they sounded hollow. That sinking feeling would soon be confirmed in the worst possible way. The morning that changed everything started like any other Tuesday. Amanda was in the shower getting ready for work. Her phone, left charging on the nightstand, buzzed repeatedly with incoming messages. I had never been the type to snoop, but when the screen lit up for the third time, my eyes involuntarily caught the preview text, "Still thinking about last night. You are amazing. Miss you already." The sender was saved as Kyle W., her new colleague, who had joined the marketing department 6 months earlier. I had met him once at a company function, tall, confident, with the kind of charisma that commanded attention. My hand hovered over the phone. The shower was still running. The rational part of my brain argued this could be innocent, maybe a professional compliment about a presentation. But deep down I knew. With shaking fingers, I picked up her phone, expecting to be blocked by the password screen. To my surprise, it opened. She had apparently disabled the lock temporarily while at home. More messages from Kyle filled the screen, each more intimate than the last. References to hotel rooms, to secret meetings, to things they had done together. My stomach lurched as I scrolled up, seeing weeks of conversations documenting their affair. The bathroom door could open any minute. I quickly took photos of the most damning messages with my own phone, then replaced hers exactly as I had found it. My mind was spinning, but I needed more proof before confronting her. I needed to understand the full scope of this betrayal. That night, after Amanda fell asleep, I accessed our shared cloud storage account. We had set it up years ago to back up photos and important documents, and I knew she sometimes saved copies of text conversations there to free up phone space. What I found destroyed me completely. Hundreds of messages between her and Kyle spanning the past 6 months. Photos they had exchanged. Hotel receipts. Plans for their rendezvous. The level of deception was breathtaking. She had created elaborate fake work events to cover their time together. What hurt most were the things she said about me. In one exchange, Kyle asked if she was worried I might suspect something. Amanda replied, "Jett is so trusting it would never cross his mind. He is predictable, safe, boring honestly. The perfect cover for having some actual excitement in my life." Another message outlined their future plans. "We just need to wait for the right time. I will ask for divorce. After the holidays, claim we have grown apart. He will probably blame himself. Once things settle, we can be together openly." I read until sunrise, each message another nail in the coffin of our marriage. The woman I loved had not only betrayed me, but held me in contempt. The plans they made, the ways they mocked my trust, the calculated nature of it all. It was more than infidelity. It was cruel. I called in sick to work and spent the day in a daze trying to process what I had discovered. Around lunch, a sudden need for absolute certainty drove me to Amanda's office building. I parked across the street and waited. At 1:15 p.m., I watched her emerge with Kyle. They walked to his car in the far corner of the parking lot, partially hidden by delivery trucks. He opened the door for her, then leaned in for a kiss that lasted far too long to be between mere colleagues. His hand slid down to her waist possessively. She laughed at something he said. That same musical laugh I once thought was reserved for me. The final confirmation hit me like a physical blow. I drove home in a state of numb detachment, my mind already shifting from shock to a strange, cold clarity. I knew what I needed to do. I did not want a confrontation. No screaming, no accusations, no tearful explanations or hollow apologies. Those scenes played out in countless relationships, but they all seemed to end the same way, with lingering anger, messy divorces, and mutual destruction. I wanted something cleaner. A complete severance. Amanda was leaving for a 3-day marketing retreat the following morning. That gave me exactly 67 hours to execute my plan. I started making calls immediately. First, I contacted a real estate agent friend who owed me a favor. Within hours, he found me a furnished apartment in Portland, 200 miles away, available for immediate move-in. Next came the bank. I withdrew exactly half of our joint savings, leaving the rest for Amanda. I was hurt, but not vindictive. Then I called my company requesting an immediate transfer to our Portland office, citing family reasons. As a senior engineer with a solid reputation, they accommodated me with minimal questions. During the next 2 days, I methodically erased my current life. I packed only what truly mattered. Family photos excluding Amanda, personal mementos, clothes, and my work equipment. I changed my phone number, created new email accounts, and deactivated all social media. I contacted the small circle of friends I wanted to maintain relationships with, swearing them to secrecy about my whereabouts and giving them my new contact information. The hardest call was to my parents. They adored Amanda and would not understand my abrupt departure. I gave them a sanitized version saying we had grown apart and needed time to reevaluate. I asked them not to share my new contact information with Amanda or her family, at least for now. They were confused and concerned, but respected my request. On the morning Amanda was due back, I placed divorce papers on the kitchen table. I had consulted a lawyer remotely and arranged everything to be as fair as possible. Beside the papers, I left a single note card with 5 words: "I know all about Kyle." Then I drove away from the life we had built, feeling both hollowed out and strangely liberated. I did not anticipate what would happen next. Amanda apparently arrived home, expecting a normal evening. Instead, she found half the closet empty and divorce papers waiting. According to mutual friends who later filled me in, she went through multiple stages of reaction. First confusion, then panic, then rage. She called my phone, repeatedly finding the number disconnected. She contacted my workplace only to be told I had transferred. She reached out to my friends who honored my request for privacy. Each dead end fueled her growing frenzy. The meltdown truly began when she realized I had vanished completely without confronting her about the affair. There would be no opportunity to explain, justify, or manipulate the narrative. I had taken that power away from her, and she could not handle losing control of the situation. What followed was an aggressive campaign to vilify me. Amanda took to social media with a carefully crafted story her husband had abandoned her without warning, possibly having a mental breakdown. She positioned herself as the worried, heartbroken wife, concerned about my well-being, cleverly avoiding any mention of Kyle. "I am worried sick about Jett," she posted. "He has disappeared without explanation. If anyone has seen or heard from him, please contact me immediately. I just want to know he is safe." The comments flooded in. Expressions of support for her concern for me, offers to help search. She played the role of distraught wife, perfectly garnering sympathy from all directions. When my silence continued, her posts became more pointed. "It is devastating when someone you love and trust simply walks away without having the courage to talk things through. Marriage means facing problems together, not running away." Our mutual friends began taking sides. Some respected my privacy, suspecting there must be a significant reason for my actions. Others bought Amanda's narrative, completely reaching out with messages ranging from concern to condemnation. "What kind of man abandons his wife without a word?" wrote one of Amanda's friends. "Cowardly and cruel." Marcus, my closest friend, initially defended me, suggesting there must be more to the story. This earned him Amanda's focused attention. She began meeting him for coffee, seeking information under the guise of concern. Eventually, after what I imagine was skillful manipulation, he revealed I was in Portland. He thought he was helping reconciliation efforts, not realizing he was being used. My parents faced the brunt of Amanda's campaign too. She showed up at their house in tears, playing the role of devastated wife, seeking understanding. They maintained the boundaries I had requested but were clearly shaken by her performance. The pressure mounted as Amanda hired a private investigator to track me down. She filed a missing persons report with the police despite knowing I had left voluntarily. She contacted my new workplace repeatedly until they threatened legal action if the harassment continued. For 3 months, I weathered the storm from a distance. I built a new routine in Portland, finding comfort in the anonymity of a new city. I joined a support group for divorced men, which helped me process the betrayal without becoming bitter. I focused on work, took up hiking in the Columbia River Gorge, and slowly began rebuilding. Throughout it all, I maintained my silence. Not out of cowardice, as Amanda claimed, but because I knew any engagement would pull me back into the toxic vortex of her manipulation. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. Exactly 97 days after I left, an unexpected email arrived from Sarah, a former coworker who had been friendly with both Amanda and me. The subject line read simply, "You should know the truth." Sarah had remained neutral in the aftermath of my disappearance, neither condemning nor defending me publicly. Her email explained why I did not want to take sides without knowing facts. "Now I have them, and you deserve to know what is happening." She had attended a work function where, after several glasses of wine, Kyle had boasted about his conquest of Amanda. What shocked Sarah was not just the affair itself, but how Kyle spoke about it, as a game they had played with me, as the oblivious fool. More disturbing was his revelation that he had ended things with Amanda shortly after I left, having gotten what he wanted from the relationship. Sarah attached screenshots of social media conversations where Amanda had dramatically embellished her victim narrative, claiming I had emptied our accounts false. I had taken exactly half, threatened her, completely fabricated, and possibly been unfaithful myself. Projection at its finest. "She is manipulating everyone's sympathy," Sarah wrote, "and most people are falling for it because they only hear her version." This information catalyzed something in me. While I had no interest in reconciliation, I did care about the truth. My silence had allowed Amanda to control the narrative, painting me as the villain in a story where she was the architect of destruction. I spent a week carefully composing an email. I did not want vengeance, just clarity. I attached evidence of the affair, screenshots of messages, hotel receipts, photos they had exchanged. I included documentation of the financial split showing I had been fair. I explained my reasons for leaving the way I did, the need for a clean break from manipulation and gaslighting. I chose silence, not from cowardice but from self-preservation, I wrote. I needed space to heal, without having my reality twisted by someone who had already betrayed my trust completely. I sent this email only to those closest to us, my parents, her parents, and our inner circle of friends. I did not post publicly or seek broader vindication. This was not about public shaming, just private truth. The response was immediate. My parents called apologizing for doubting my decision. Friends reached out expressing shock and regret for judgments made. Marcus was especially remorseful, having been used as an unwitting informant. Even Amanda's parents contacted me, her father simply writing, "We raised her better than this. We are sorry." Within days, Amanda's social media campaign crumbled. Those who had been her most vocal supporters now questioned her version of events. The private investigator was called off. The missing person report was formally withdrawn. Then came Amanda's desperate attempts to reconnect. First, angry emails accusing me of trying to ruin her life. Then tearful voice messages begging forgiveness. Finally, a letter promising change therapy, whatever it would take to earn another chance. I responded only once with kindness but firmness. I wish you healing and growth. I have forgiven you, but that does not mean we should rebuild what was broken by deception. Some endings are actually beginnings in disguise. The divorce proceeded without further drama. Amanda, having lost her audience for theatrics, agreed to the original terms. 6 months after my departure, our marriage was legally over. The process of rebuilding myself took longer. I stayed in Portland, finding unexpected peace in its rainy days and independent bookstores. The support group became a genuine circle of friends. I reconnected with old hobbies, playing guitar, mountain biking, coding for fun rather than work. 8 months after moving, I met Ellie at a community garden workshop. She was a pediatric nurse with kind eyes and an easy laugh. We started as friends, taking it slowly, both carrying past relationship scars. I was transparent about my history, and she appreciated the honesty. We are still together now, building something authentic based on truth from the foundation up. I sometimes reflect on what I learned from the experience. Trust once shattered can be rebuilt, but not necessarily with the person who broke it. Disappearing was not running away, but running towards self-respect. The opinions of others matter far less than the peace of being true to yourself. The most important lesson was learning that setting boundaries is not selfish. Protecting your mental and emotional health is not weakness. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from someone who does not value the gift of your love and trust. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any words could, and sometimes you have to disappear completely to truly find yourself again. Have you ever had to make a difficult choice that others did not understand? At first, would you have handled my situation differently? Or do you think ghosting was justified given the circumstances? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And do not forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories about navigating the complexities of relationships. Remember, your path to healing might look different from others, and that is perfectly okay. Thank you for listening, and I hope my experience helps someone else find the courage to choose self-respect, even when it is the harder path.